Don't take it. For sexual. Don't take it.
Come live with me for a weekend.
You got a name now. What's up, Metro? Hey, me.
Definitely not.
This is bad. I can't talk to you, Julia.
Where are you from?
This crowd. I love it. I didn't hear that. 12 women, 6:15, and you become that new.
Hello, can the Zoom people hear us? Thumbs up. All right, very
Good
good.
morning.
What? Did he say something?
He said good morning.
Oh, we got the speaker on warm. What is?
All right, we want to turn to,
Do I?
yeah,
I like this background.
Motown greatest hits.
and then you're not gonna hear anything.
All that.
It will do some of the dance.
Nope.
You need to share screen?
I don't know, dude. This is all tripping me out. This is a lot. Well,
You need to share screen?
I
Do
would
you have it?
probably, so I have it up on that TV. Julie and I played around with it. And we got it there. Couldn't figure out how to get it on that TV.
Okay, I don't know either.
Okay.
You see,
That's really zoomed out. I would have to have some to do. Well,
yeah, but I don't know how we're gonna share that.
no, it's okay. I have the name of this one, do the.
Don't have fun TV. American Bandstand and stuff.
Need Bob right now.
Bob,
Hi, Bob. Hi, Bob.
but we can't get it together. We gotta come
Good
in.
morning.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, we can hear it.
I'm just sitting here on the dock of the bay.
What are you doing? What?
Actually working.
Watching the tide roll away?
Yeah.
You taking it here like you did the next line.
It's Otis somebody who does it.
Ready, that's somebody.
I like that song.
Yeah, that was like 3 months.
We,
Turn that on the house clean.
now something there happened.
You have to like stand and bring it out.
She's smelling donuts.
We should have.
Who's so Remy? Huh. Technical difficulties. Sorry about that. There's like 6 different TVs that I can connect to here. Yeah.
This happens every time.
Well, I think there would be a benefit to maybe renaming the TVs. Because right now, this is what I look at when I try to, they all look the same.
I don't know.
We'll click that one.
Let's try it.
Do numbers come up? No. That one.
Go to the next one.
Yep, we'll click the next one.
Oh. That's a good kicker.
Maybe nervous. I don't know.
Here's the one.
It said Bob, Neil's note taker, somebody else.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's just Bob. You can just describe it visually.
Okay.
I like everyone.
Yeah, see, that one worked. We
Hey.
got that one working
There
right
you
away. Very nice. All right, so my name is Blake Bowman. I really have not met a whole awful lot of you aside from the team and Tony. So I guess if we could start off just by doing first and last names. I'm horrible with names. I'll probably forget it. I apologize. But just to say hi.
Kira Johnson.
Ushira, okay.
Maddie Schellenberg.
Maddie, all right.
Zulady Moscaso.
Zule?
Zulady.
Zulady, awesome. I'll try to remember that. I'm sorry.
Just call me.
I'm Nicole.
Nicole.
Yep.
Hi, it's nice to meet you guys. And then there's Bob. Very perfect. Yep, there we go. So what we're gonna be running through today is something that we do with all of our, what? You don't know their names.
I'm Lucas.
You know what?
Everybody.
I'm Brady. I'm Ethan.
And I'm Brock.
You need some of them. There you go. My apologies. And that's Remy. She's down there.
And Remy's here.
Yep.
Emotional support animal for today.
So what we're gonna be running through is something that we do with all of our new agents. We sit down and usually take 30 to 45 minutes to run through all of these numbers, come up with your intended goal, as well as the metrics that it actually takes to hit that. So it's essentially setting goals and holding yourself accountable to attaining those goals. Our thought process is if we can break everything down to math and make it as boilerplate as possible, it tends to simplify the process as opposed to just making random calls and kind of praying that something sticks and something works, right? So a little bit about me. Before I got into real estate, I have a racing background. I raced motocross, I raced skis at a pretty high level. I left the house when I was 16. I had 33 months where I was homeless. 22 of them were consecutive between 16 and 21. I ended up getting expelled from high school, right? So I had a bit of difficulties getting into real estate, and I only say that because I think it brings credence to the fact that it's just incredible. You know, literally anybody that has goals and has a motivated mindset, if you can break it down into math, no matter what you've been through, you can get yourself to the point that you're consistently selling real estate and that you find success in this career, right? So when I got into the industry, Brock had mentioned to me that a mentor told him that most people spend their life climbing the ladder of success only to get to the top and realize that they scaled the wrong damn building, right? So there is usually a wage cap in most careers. Thankfully, with real estate, there is zero cap. So the amount of work that you put into it is the exact amount of return that you're going to get out of it, right? It comes down to you, how well you can systematize yourself and how much you're willing to do in terms of working effort. So our team has spent over $1 million over the last 6 years, $100,000 of that on coaching, 60,000 to actually systematize the process, the rest on teaching us the right scripts, the right things to say, and how to go about actually the process of selling real estate. And using all of our coaching, we have been able to sell 475 houses in the last 6 years. The base of that foundation is this process right here. This is the first thing we learn, the first thing we do. It's the first week of joining our team, how we teach people to look at business, right? So none of us have any formal sales experience. I think that's important to point out as well. It's not like we had, years that we were running through selling different products or different resources. We just kind of hop in real estate, got a coaching, right? So I have a question. And I guess we can just kind of shout out the answer here if you would like, no need to raise hands or anything like that. But what do you guys think is the number one quality of a successful realtor? Number one quality. Personable. Yeah, that's definitely a really good one. You guys got the same one. Yeah, very, very good. Yeah, consistency, personable. Do we have any other suggestions?
I was gonna go consistent.
Okay, that was good. Yes. Discipline is a great one. So what we were always taught is the key to being a successful realtor is the ability to follow a schedule. It means if you have an 11 o'clock, it starts at 11. If it ends at 12, it ends at 12. So I'm going to do my best today to cut this at an hour short. If you guys have any questions, I'll give you my number. We can sit down together. We can talk about anything that we need to do to make sure that we get you the care that you deserve. But at the end of the day, following a schedule makes somebody a successful or an unsuccessful realtor. You can't be late to showings. You can't be late to appointments. You can't sit at a table and spend 2.5 hours doing something that's going to take you 45 minutes because that takes away from the rest of the business and from the other clients that deserve just as much as you plan, other than care that way, right? So that's why I have my calendar pulled up. This is what we would consider a good week. This is what each of our weeks look like when they're actually fully fledged out. On our team, we do what we can to try to time block and itemize everything into 15 minutes. All of our free time first are blocked in. The way my calendar is set up, this is actually a good example. All the red is personal time or things that don't make me money. All the green things are direct money-making activities. All of the grayed out things are miscellaneous activities that are required to do your job. They don't directly correlate to any kind of financial gain. They're more so just the menial tasks that you have to get through to kind of get through everything, right? This is a bad week. I had a couple of days here that I was sick and we didn't fill anything in. So just to kind of show from one week to another, consistency is great, right? But just making that conscious effort to schedule out your life and make sure that you have a schedule that you can follow and hold yourself accountable to is one of the big key things. So what we have here is a preset week. So this is, I think, the foundation of everything that has to do with our job is really making sure that going into a week ahead of time, you have all of your activities and your times blocked out, right? So it goes from this back to this. But from the get-go, we had always been taught that it's important to prioritize when you're going to do certain activities and to make them recurring every single week. That way you can maintain the consistency and you can heighten your personability because you know exactly when you're going to be doing everything, right? Yeah. And if you have any questions, if you want, I talk fast sometimes. So if I need to slow down, just let me know. The way that my schedule works out, I have 71 hours blocked out a week for real estate. I have from 12 to 7 every day are my available appointment times. From 8:30 in the morning until 12 in the morning are my lead gen times, Monday to Saturday. We do what we can to adhere to that. So no appointments in the morning, no lead gen in the afternoon. You should be pretty filled with your appointments because you had already done the lead gen in the previous days to stack up your appointments for that afternoon. And then on the weekends, especially in the start of your career, I recommend working 7 days a week. I know it's kind of a lot to ask out of a lot of people, but at least having your Saturday booked out for appointments and availability, it can be really beneficial for your business. Yep. So how many of you guys already have a calendar? Yeah. I know you guys do. Yeah, we check them every week. Yep. Yeah.
What was your first step to getting it this organized and disciplined?
So I actually did a to-do list every single day before I even got into real estate. It was the only day that I could, the only way that I could keep my sanity. So I had like a 30 to 50 item to-do list every single day. When I got on my team, Brock introduced me to Google Calendar, said it was an easier way where we could share all our calendars. If you look on the left side here, we actually have access to everybody's. So we have Brady's, we have Brock's, we have Lucas's, we have Ethan's. Everybody's is, when you overlap them, it looks really overwhelming, but we all treat this the exact same way.
The third, the fifth item a day.
Yeah, even as little as like taking a shower, brushing my teeth, driving to work, like every single thing. The more that you can check off and the more you can accomplish, the better you feel, especially as you go through the day, right? So I took all of that and put it into a Google Calendar. I'm a little neurotic with it. You don't always have to do every 15-minute time blocks. I'm just really, really big on having a systematized life. It's me saying that it helps me to do what I have to do.
Well, we had talked, I think Jared taught a class where it was about time auditing. Somebody
Yeah.
did that.
Yep.
Or Brock did. So, and that's about doing every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because you can easily then go back, like for sure, remember last week, it's like the do not list or whatever, but not to do list. You can go back, time audit yourself and determine what did I do today that helped my business. And quickly, if you didn't have anything, well, you can go in and decide yesterday, what did I do to help my business? And the green means income producing stuff.
Yes.
So it looks like you were busy in the morning and then kind of just. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I went to the wayside. That's why I did what I could to
Yeah.
not land it on this week, just out of force of
Oh,
habit.
if you go back to last week, you can use that. That was pretty good.
Yep. And what's great is, thank you for actually bringing that up because it's sometimes difficult to think about what you did, 4 or 5 years ago to get yourself to the point that you do now. But when we started this originally, we had weekly time audits and then we had, at least for myself, I had a monthly personal audit. So I would sit down and I would make an itemized list of every single action that I did, every single time block. It would be like 3 or 4 pages long. I found out all of the activities that I did in repetition. I figured out the ones that I did the most, and the ones that I did the most were the ones that I integrated into my preset.
That's a
calendar.
great point,
Right.
because how many times do we see, okay, we have 12 months.
Yeah.
As real estate agents, and we probably crush it in a few months, and then guess what? We're dead, we have no business in our pipeline, it's why, because we weren't doing the activities. So a lot of times people, especially as you go 5, 6, 10 years down the road, you forget what created that success, and if you have a calendar like this, you can easily go back and be like, what was I doing in 2025 that I crushed real estate?
Yep.
And this tells you that story.
Exactly. And that's how oh yeah, go ahead.
Really soon, ChatGPT is going to be able to talk with Google Calendar. They're already making it so that they can see the data a little bit, but you can't like ask questions about it specifically. But really soon, because of their integration, you'll be able to say, hey, notice the patterns from this month versus this month. My business was really good on this month. And if you track everything, ChatGPT is going to be able to look at all that for you and tell you what maybe some of the difference makers are. So the more that we can log, the more that we can get into a system or on paper, so not paper, but on the cloud, so to speak, the more data that those LLMs are going to be able to help us with to make us better realtors in the near future too. And to answer Ryan, where do you start? Blake's actually going to go into, like, you choose your pillars, and that's what you start with time blocking is, you know, with the map and the pillars, which Blake will get into later. You just show me under the hood of what he's talking about today. So, yep.
That's how we got into the whole segmented days and everything like that. We figured after the first 2 or 3 years of us doing this pretty consistently that the best conversion rates in terms of setting appointments and being able to get business for your afternoon was in the morning. For some reason, people get to work and they decide they just want to answer their phone instead of actually starting work. So you make your calls in the morning, come 12 o'clock, turn off that call log, and you the appointments you set. Cool. All right. So the next thing we're going to get into, the pillars are really, really great. They're the essentially the pillars of your business. They're what hold it up and prop it up. We're going to get there a little bit later. Before you can even come up with your pillars, you need to talk about your big why, right? Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
Excellent. So your big why, the reason you're getting into this business. We all got into real estate in some way, shape, or form to make money. You know, we can't argue that. There's no ceiling, there's no wage cap. We can get what we want out of this and especially tailor make our lives around it. But there needs to be some sort of outward motivation at the end of the line, right? There's over a 90% failure rate in real estate in the first 5 years. It's a little bit lower in year one, but as you get to a point where 90% of the people you run into and you've done deals with over the last 5 years, they're just going to be gone. They're going to be out of it. They can't have kept up with the workflow. When the market got hard, they didn't know the actions they had to take to actually, find success and to propel their business forward. So your big why needs to be bigger than the failure rate of real estate. So I'm not saying this has to happen for everybody. The advice that we got when we first got into it was your reason for moving forward each day should legitimately bring you to tears. When you think about it, when you talk about it, when you ingrain it within yourself, and you constantly have that on your mind, it should be an emotional aspect of your life. For myself, because of my background with some of the things that I went through when I was younger, I'd like to have been kind of a halfway house for like 16 to 18-year-olds. I want to buy multi-unit properties. I want to partner with York County. And in the future, I want to have enough businesses opened up that I can provide those kids with different jobs and different resources to learn how to do things the right way instead of taking some of the actions that put us in, bad situations. We'll leave it at that. But your why has to push you. It has to be big. You can't just say, I want to make money. Why do you want to make it? You got to take it a few layers deeper than that. What are you going to do with the money? How is the money going to serve you? And how badly would it affect you if you don't actually accomplish it? Right? That needs to be on your mind every single day. It's something we can't forget. We can't lose sight of it no matter how well we started. So would anybody like to share a big why? Anybody? Does anybody have a big why? Have we sat down and maybe taken a deeper dive into this thought process before?
Mine may be kind of similar to yours. Yours
Okay.
is, mine is for, girls coming out of foster care that have children.
Mhm.
Because there isn't an actual space for them, so they still have to live with other people.
Yes.
They're actually adults and they aren't really treated like adults and they don't get the training. So mine is, like you said, to have multiple spaces where they can come and have daycare, computer training, job skills and all that, and at the same time mature and be able to take care of their child.
It's awesome. Out of, there's like, what, like 40 something adult facilities in York County, and I think only 2 youth. I don't know that I'm familiar with any that actually does something specific like that.
I used to be a foster parent when I was in Maryland.
Okay,
Yeah.
good for you. Yep. Would anybody else like to share?
You have to go because you were late.
I have to go because I'm late. To
It's
be
good.
honest, I struggle on this.
Yeah,
I do.
okay,
So you're saying like it's gotta bring you to tears. It's hard to make me cry,
gotcha.
except when it comes to my kids, you know, so.
That sounds like pretty.
Yeah, so I guess it's like just to, you know, be able to give them what they want without making them brats, which is a struggle.
That's good.
And to keep whatever.
Yes,
Kind of, and I have a goal, like I want to move south eventually,
awesome.
so like that's kind of usually where my head is. I don't cry about it, but
It's fun.
that's, maybe it's not enough, I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
Mine,
The
stress, it made me cry. It made me more angry.
Yeah,
Because these girls they really go through a rough time.
I bet.
They've already been through a rough time and it gets even harder. So it made me angry that, you know, the government or whoever, they have all these other things in place, but once they turn 18, it's like, we don't care about you.
It's just the strongest emotional attachment. That's all it is. It's what drives you and what creates the need and the urgency to wake up every morning and do exactly what you're gonna do. And
see, I
it's,
struggle getting out of bed. That's not-
okay, well.
Then you have it with your kids, you just haven't gone deep enough, like almost like a high road, low road of the best case and worst case scenario. And if you were the best realtor that you could be, do they get into a better college? Do their kids get into a better college? What like downstream effects could completely change their life if you could just stay motivated the whole time? And the way that you stay motivated is by getting deep into that big why and how much that does for your offspring and people that you
Well, I,
love and care about.
and then it's like, how much do I want to work versus miss what that's going, I have one left in school.
Yep.
So I struggle with like, I'm okay with not making this much as long as I'm not missing this much
Yep.
too, so it's,
It's a balance.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You are good at segues today. We were going to the activity of thinking out the big why and take it a couple layers deep so you can become emotionally attached to it is the high road, low road. I can't say that. I'm sorry. High road, low road. So you ask yourself a few questions. What is at stake? Because it's easy to let yourself down. Are you going to let your kids down if you don't accomplish this? Your spouse, your parents. You have to emotionally work through the differences between accomplishing what you want to accomplish and not accomplishing that action, right? When you can hit that breaking point that you really feel, this is why I'm doing this, these are the people it will impact, this is why I have to continue moving forward each day, that's when you're going to start to perform and produce like you really should, right? Yep. So we'll use that, just, we don't have to touch on it anymore, I'm not gonna drag it out of anybody, I know a lot of it's pretty personal more often than not, but it is something to keep in the back of your mind. If you're sitting there thinking to yourself, I'm just doing this to make money, or I'm just doing this to do this, start creating a reason. It really will help you. I
Like
promise.
you said, you can flip it. It's like,
Yeah.
who, not only do you let yourself down, but who around you do you let down if you don't show up for work?
Yep.
And that starts then backfeed into the purpose.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Okay.
So my big why is, other than change of careers, because I've been in healthcare for 13, 14 years. So I found myself kind of like in a dead end. And I work from home. So I do real estate part-time for right now. But my goal is obviously to become full-time in real estate. But other than trying to change careers, I also wanted to make a difference in the Hispanic community, because I feel like there's so much misinformation and stuff that people does not know. That I think that if they had the information, and I can be that person that can give them that information that they need to, you know, become successful or to buy their first home or whatever it may be, I want to be part of that process. So
I think that's awesome.
that's the only big one. And because I went through it with well, I speak English, but my husband is not very fluent in English. When we bought a house last year, it was so hard to find a Hispanic, someone that would really take us seriously, a Hispanic agent to help mainly him or to answer his questions. I'm like, wow, we talked to 2 different people, but they went MIA. So I'm like,
Seriously?
yeah, like literally, like we went through the steps and everything, but there was never a follow-up or anything like that. Like, what are you doing? What can we do? So I felt like, wow, like, really, is that how you really treat, people, or how you're supposed to treat people? It's like, you know what? I've been watching this for so long, or been dreaming about this or thinking about this for so long. So got into my classes September of last year, did my classes and joined this year. So here I am. And I've seen like the difference, and I've seen like, I've been putting myself out there more, and I have had plenty of leads, especially like from church. I'm part of community church. So I've been having like most of my leads have been coming from there, and I feel great to
When did you get licensed? May?
make.
How many deals have you done so far?
I'm good. Second and third next week.
Good job. Yes.
And then I have another.
So shout out to the lady, because May, the 4 months. She will have 5 deals done in her first 4 months. I mean, and she's gonna graduate from the Keys program. I think you might set the record for the time frames, because I think the first one was 6 months, so which was Trisha Stonecipher. She's still here, but it's impressive to watch you put all that effort in and not be afraid.
There's a gap to fill. There really is. That's, over in Hanover. We, as you mentioned, we get a good number of leads and people, their main language is Spanish, right? So I'm fortunate. I took 6 years back in high school. I don't speak it, but if somebody speaks Spanish to me, I answer in English, and if they can understand me, I can understand them. So I've helped a few, but every single person has said nobody makes a conscious effort. You know what I mean? So
That's what happened to me. No one made it kind of like that conscious
Yes.
to
Yeah.
pay that. I'm taking that role.
Good for you.
I love to take it.
Yeah. You'll get done with what you're doing, being part-time and selling that many properties. That's really nice.
That's only gonna be part-time now, because you'll be full-time. So,
Yeah,
Numbers like that.
for sure.
One a month,
Yeah.
2 a month.
Part-time. That's, that's really good.
Well, and then, yeah, the next thing is like you set your goal, you set your deadline for when you want to be full-time, and make sure you carry that through.
For me.
That's a perfect transition. Everybody's wanting it. I love this. Next, we're going to get into our income goal, right? So this can be either annual, for yourself personally, Zuleida, if you wanted to set an income goal by X date, that way you made a supplemental amount of money to give yourself the confidence to make the move to from part-time to full-time. I think that'd be largely beneficial for you, and you can kind of take all the numbers that we'll create and shrink them down into a smaller time frame. That way you know what you needed to accomplish it. But for income goal, show of hands, how many of you guys are part-time? We got 2. Rest are full-time? Full-time?
Full-time.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. You guys are full-time. I still know this.
Oh, I'm very fine, yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
So follow-up question, not to put you on blast. If you don't want to answer, just tell me you don't want to answer, but what would it take you to get full-time in real estate? Do you have a monetary amount, or is that a specific metric you have to hit?
About it.
A monetary amount.
I would.
Yeah, for you.
I mean, I was think- But I was thinking to possibly have like, 6 months of my current pay rate,
Awesome.
saved up, and then make the change with it.
Like a reserve fund, right? That way you felt comfortable. I love that. Zoom people, how about Bob, Shamia? Do you guys have any monetary goals? And well, first off, are you guys both part-time, full-time? How often do you practice real estate?
Well, I
I'm
practice
full-time.
daily.
Practice daily, okay. Would
I
you
practice
consider,
daily. Hmm.
Do you have any, like supplemental income or part-time jobs alongside in real estate?
Yeah, I do. I'm a healthcare consultant for the government, so I do that also. And it is a challenge to do both. And I would love to do real estate full time, but it really is about like if I could make double of what I make with my salary,
Yeah.
then I would be full time. But I'm not anywhere near that yet.
Okay. Do you know, well, we'll get into that a little bit later when we get into actually reverse engineering your goal and breaking everything down. We'll help you to figure out exactly how many calls you have to do each day, appointments you have to set, just based on average conversion rates in the real estate industry. So if you'd like, we can definitely help to break that down for you. And hopefully then, if you're looking at numbers as opposed to a wish, it'll help you to hopefully accomplish that the next year or two, you know?
Yeah, thank you. I would appreciate that.
Course, yep. Let's see. Unit goal. So have you guys, and this is just, maybe it's yes, maybe it's no. Have you guys figured out how many units you have to sell in order to hit that monetary goal that you guys have set? No, you have, you're none. Yes, you have. Yep,
I did it the last time I was class, but I don't,
awesome.
but I'm like not a numbers person. so-
I got you. Yeah.
That's why I keep coming, because I'm like a repetitive, I have
It's-
to get it stuck.
Numbers are annoying. I hate it.
I go and they just stick.
Okay. I love it.
I know how many I like to set, but I don't know. You guys know how many units I'd like to do.
I'm highly encourage you to figure out the material though. Yeah, we should have both, only because like last year, our average price range. I actually don't remember the teams. I know my average price range last year was 185,000. This year, it's almost 300. So it changes just year over year. As well as the market fluctuates itself as the market, like York County and Adams County's averages go up and down. That can fluctuate your income too. So if you can figure out how much money you want to make, the averages of your county, the counties you work in, as well as the amount of units that you actually want to sell, you can use all of those numbers concurrently and you can put them together to figure out a proper goal. Ryan, do you have an idea? What's the average commission in the KW agent? Maybe like
Probably use 6.
6?
Yeah.
Okay, yep, that's what I have written down here. I figured that's a decent. There's a lot of homes in New York that are, you know, so. yeah.
Average 200 grand.
Yep,
That would be for
225
like an
if you're-
independent agent, because when you're in a team, that's not really the average.
We'll use gross.
GCI.
Use gross commission income, not net, because everybody's on different like structures depending if you're in a team or not, so. Gross commission would be.
Yeah, but
6.
Bruce ain't, doesn't pay my bill.
that's. So what, we actually have to do the exact same thing with our team. So what we'll do, is we'll work it off of the GCI. Like the average commission, but then after you have those numbers, you obviously have to incorporate your team split in it.
30, 40,
Yeah, and then,
cost of sale, taxes.
Yep.
And then you're really.
yep, exactly. And then you have to adjust based on. So if,
So you still do your calculations with your gross, and then you do all the numbers at the end, and then you're like, okay, wait, I need to go more.
yes, yep, that's what I do. It helps you to zero down, you know, not to go into our team structure, team splits, but it's the same situation. When money comes out, money comes out. So you just have to figure out how much you need to adjust then. And really, what would actually probably be a little bit easier is figuring out what your take home would be from that 6,000 before you start doing all the math. And then you can use that. Like, let's for hard figures, just say it's 50-50. Let's say you keep $3,000 off of the $6,000, you would run it off of 3,000 instead of 6,000, right?
For me, when I do my numbers being on a team, like say, you know, I want to make 100 grand, but I know 30% of my checks are going elsewhere, then I would probably shoot my goal up to like 130 and run it off that, because I know after that's taken out, I'm getting ballpark 100.
Our team is like different per deal,
Right.
so but
Ours is too.
but I still feel like if you start somewhere, like you're saying,
Yep,
so.
find an average, a middle ground, yeah. And then it can help you also figure out what your niche is and what you really gravitate towards. I hate working with sellers. That blows people's minds. I prefer to work with buyers.
We have the same argument with Dave all the time,
All the time.
and I stand 10 toes down.
I'll- We've had this conversation before. If I could get my business to a point where I'm working strictly with buyers, I'd feed the team, the rest of the team my sellers, and I couldn't care less about it. I don't like sitting on the phone for 3 or 4 hours a day asking stupid questions that people can find the answers to. So
The phone rings more and I don't get paid as much. So,
it's very fair. So when you work out these averages, it'll help you to figure out, because the average will be the baseline. You might have some things that are below average. If you want to gravitate towards the ones that are average or above, it helps to kind of delineate where you should go, you know?
don't get me wrong, I don't walk away from money.
Okay, okay, you're gonna.
Like, I'll figure
You're
it out.
definitely not telling
Yeah,
you to,
yeah, yeah.
you know, it's just when you look at the numbers and you look at things from a broader spectrum, it can sometimes help to bring clarity. Okay. Would you mind being a volunteer?
I can try.
You can try. No,
Maybe do
nothing
math
like
for
that.
people. And
What we're going to get into now is reverse engineering the goal, and I'll actually do it for you. There's one piece of paper up here. We're gonna do a bunch of math on there. We're gonna take a couple of minutes after this exercise. I really would enjoy it if everybody could break the numbers down before we, just so we have a bit more clarity. And we can go from there. Sharmia, if you would like, after we use Dana as the example, just because we can see everything right here, I'm happy to work through it with you as well personally, and we can make sure that you feel comfortable.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So what we have to do, and you have to do everything retroactive, right? So instead of starting at the number of calls you have to make, you're gonna start at the number of sales that you want to do. So
I don't want to be this volunteer. I don't.
You don't want to be,
sharing my-
that's fine, we can do Charmaine. Charmaine, would you feel comfortable with sharing the amount of deals that you would like to do in 2026 with me?
The amount of deals?
Yeah, like the number of houses you want to sell. A better question, the number of houses that it would take for you to feel comfortable transitioning full-time into real estate without your part-time job.
So without my job, I need to bring home like 160 or so. Like that's what I need to clear.
Okay.
160, 180, just to be, I mean, that's just being okay. I mean, that would be no stress, I guess.
That helps me a lot, because with that number, we can figure out exactly how many deals we have to do and we can get to the units. So we'll go ahead, we'll write it up here. I'll try to do it as big as I can. 160,000. If we're figuring that the average Keller Williams commission check is $6,000, in order to figure out the number of units that you want to do, we're going to divide the 160,000 by 6. So 160,000 divided by 6, not 6,000, I'm sorry. That puts us at 26 units, right? So does that sound about right? If you were to do somewhere between 25 and 30, do you think that you would feel comfortable?
Yeah, I mean, and that 160, I mean, that's like basic borderline. Like that's what I would really need to clear to be okay. I can step away and not have to.
Okay. Do you want to beef it up a little bit then? Give you a little bit of comfortability, maybe run it off 30 deals?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, we'll do that. 30
And I know
deals.
that might not be a lot to, some of you guys, but that's a lot of deals for me.
That's more than I do. This year, my goal is 22. Next year, my goal is going to be 28. Last year, I did 15. So my perspective in real estate is, as long as you're doing more next year than you've done this year, it means you're walking in the right direction and you're getting where you need to go, right?
Yes.
Yep. So once we have our number of deals, I'll actually write this out just because it was sold, pending. And again, this is just how our team has everything broken down. We're as systematic as we possibly can be. So we have everything into different sections. We have agreement signed. Appointments had.
It's kind of a combination between Dave Hook and Eisenhower coaching.
Okay.
Appointments set.
But Dave tracks all.
Lead sheets.
Dave actually tracks more. Dave tracks.
Because we do that.
And then conversation. So for us, a lead sheet, we have a document that we keep in folders in the room. We make sure that whenever somebody is on a call, taking a call with somebody, you literally keep it with you even when you're not in the office, right? It has the 6 qualifying questions. Who are they? What do they want? Where do they want to go? Why are they looking to buy? How do they plan on doing it? And what are they going to do about it, right? Or what are they going to do to actually get it done? Plus, it has other questions where, kind of like when you go to a doctor's office, just probing a little bit more into their background. We need a lead sheet for every single person in order to consider them a legitimate buyer prospect or seller prospect. So if you guys don't have lead sheets, that's totally okay. Just based on these numbers, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get that written off of that. So what we want to do, and pardon me, I'm bad at the average numbers are different than my numbers personally, so I need a bit of a reference point here, but the average percent of deals that go from pending to actually close is 80% statistically nationwide. That means 1 in every 5 deals are going to fall apart, even if you've done everything right. That's just the nature of things, right? So what we're going to do is we want 30 sold. We will take that and divide it by 0.8%. Because we're going to need to close 80% of the properties that we get pending, right? So times
Say
0.8.
that one more time, nice and slow.
Yes, so since we're working retroactively.
Yeah.
If we want 30 sold and 80% of the deals that we get under contract will fall through, we have to figure out how many pending we need to get, so 30 of them actually close. So since the average United States, like this nationwide statistic is you close 80% of the deals you get under contract, we have to divide the number that we want sold by the national average, which is 80%, so 0.8. And then that number should be the amount that we need pending that year in order to hit our goal. So 30 divided by 0.8.
But doesn't that work?
No,
You get bigger.
37.5. When you times it, it's smaller, when you divide it, it gets bigger. So 37.5. If you want, I would recommend rounding up instead of down. For all intents and purposes, for the accuracy on our team, since we try to get as close as we can as our actual numbers, we leave the decimal there. You don't have to, but if you round it up. Give yourself a little more work instead of a little less, at least you'll do better than you wanted to, right? So the same statistic, agreements signed, about 80% of the agreements that you actually sign will go pending. So we're going to do the exact same thing with 37.5. So we're going to take 37.5 divided by 0.8. That puts us at 46.875. So that means if we want to close 30 properties, we have to get 37.5 properties pending that year, and we have to get 46 agreements signed. So we're getting close to that 1 a week threshold. Now, an agreement signed is either a buyer agency contract or a listing agreement. So one of those two, right? That just implies that you're actually working with that individual. That's the reason we call it that. Now, the next step will be appointments had. About 60% of the appointments that you actually have will end up signing appointments, or will end up signing the agreements with you if you're, pushing things the right way, having the proper conversations, and you're pretty well versed on your scripts. So we will take the 46.875. Yeah.
I'm actually starting to get this, that's why I came.
I love this. Yeah.
So what did you do? What was the percentage for the agreement signed?
Here, I'll go ahead. 0.8, 0.8, 0.6.
So are you taking the 30 every time for this?
Yeah,
No.
taking the next number in the chain. So you go 30 divided by 0.8 equals the 37.5. Then you take the 37.5 divided by 0.8. That gives you the 46. That's correct.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And then these are all the decimals that you're going to have to divide them by. And it's beautiful because you can literally leave the same number on your calculator and just type in the next one,
Okay,
So, yeah, it takes a lot. We've done this every year for the last 5 years, and we do it halfway through the year as well. So we've done this a lot, but at any point in time, if you want me to slow down, if you want me to take a break or any kind of clarity, just let me know. How are you Zoom people doing? Can you hear me? Am I shouting loud enough?
Yeah, you're doing good.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Awesome. I saw Sharmir turned her mute back on, so I'm assuming she was mirroring that. Okay. So in order to go from appointments had to agreements signed, the national average is 60% of the appointments that you have will end up signing an agreement with you if you presented at every single appointment. So we'll take the 46.875 divided by 0.6. That gives us 78.125. So that means you have to have 78.125 appointments a year.
So you're saying you have to go on 78 appointments to sign 46 clients?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh,
And then out of
wow.
46 it's a big number.
That's a big number for,
Yeah.
yes.
It's great. And seeing things in a perspective, it really helps out. Yes. No, no.
What do you consider an appointment held? Can it be like a phone call
No.
appointment or an in-person?
It's an in-person appointment, so everybody runs their business a little bit differently. The way that we've been taught is before you take anybody to showing, before you do anything with anybody, they're sitting down with you either in person or over Zoom. You buy your agency paperwork, you're filling out your lead sheet, you're getting all the information about what they want, kind of like a doctor will or a lawyer will. And then from there, after everything is signed, after everything's been presented, we'll now take them out, we'll now take them on showings or do anything like that. So it can be, if you don't have a buyer presentation put together, or like any kind of slideshows or anything like that, I would consider an appointment, sitting down with somebody or being on Zoom with somebody and having the opportunity to present paperwork, because it's kind of hard to do that, you know?
It has to be like face to face.
Yes, yep, face to face in some capacity, and that's what listing paperwork or buyer paperwork. Great question.
On the buying end, the easiest way to do that is call it a strategy session, and it's to give them realtor access to the MLS. So you sit down and do it together. Good.
So I
Good.
just wanted,
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to.
Some sort of face to face, and we see is something to break the ice, something to build the rapport a little bit more than. That was a great question.
Could you just give me the, those breakdowns here? You have sold, pending, appointments held?
Sold, pending, agreement signed, appointments had, appointments set, lead sheets, and conversations. So you may go straight from conversations to appointments set if you don't have a system for a lead sheet or for gathering information, consistent information from each client. But at the end of the day, we're trying to get ourselves to the very, very, very top of the funnel here to figure out the first action you do with everybody, which is just talk to them, right?
And I missed the fractions there that you were, the decimals you were multiplying by or dividing by.
Yes, sir. So from sold to pending, 80% of the pending properties will sell.
Mhm.
80% of the agreements that are signed will go pending. 60% of the appointments had will end up signing with you. 80% of the appointments that you're set will actually end up happening. So it'll be appointment had. 30% of the lead sheets that you fill out will correlate to an appointment being set, and 15% of the conversations that you have will lead to a lead sheet.
Thank you, sir.
Of course, so we're just gonna keep running through this one. The appointments set to had, 80% of them will actually end up having, right? So we're gonna divide this by 0.8. That takes us to 97.656. We'll cap it after 3 decimals. 656. 30% of the lead sheets that we get filled out will correlate to an appointment, so we'll take that 97 divided by 0.3. That takes us to 325.52. And then 15% of the conversations we have will end up leading to a lead sheet. So that'll be divided by 352. By 2 divided by 0.15. Geez, Blake. Divided by 0.15. That's 2,350.13. Big numbers, right, Shamia?
Like they're real big. That's why I'm gonna
Real
just keep
big.
doing what I'm doing right for now.
Oh, it's totally okay. So this is in a year, right? Our goal is to get you down to the daily actions that you have to do. So once we have the year mapped out, I'll ask you the question of how many weeks do you want to work a year? 48, 50, I choose 48 for my numbers. I like to try to take 4 weeks off, a week a quarter if I can, or the whole month of December, however it works out. But some people do 50 weeks. I think the rest of the guys do 50 weeks. So how many weeks next year are you planning on working in real estate? Do you plan on taking any weeks off?
I mean, I still even, it's not good, but a lot of times, even when I'm off, I'm still working.
Yeah, that's how it usually ends up going, but let's say this, are there any weeks maybe that you are not going to take on any appointments, or maybe you're going to go to the beach for a few days and make calls from the beach? Do you have any plans like that?
So it would probably maybe be like 2 good weeks that I might
Good week.
not do anything.
That's beautiful. So what we're going to do, and I'll just do this for conversation because this is the scariest number, so we're going to break this one down real fast. But to figure out each of these numbers, we're going to divide them by the amount of weeks that we want to work next year. So if we want to work 50 weeks next year, you're going to divide each of these numbers by 50, and that's how many you're going to actually have to do each week, right? So we're going to do 2,350.13 divided by 50. So you have to have 47 conversations a week. All you have to do is talk to 47 people and do what you can to get a lead sheet or an appointment set out of each one of them. Does that sound like something you can do?
No,
No?
47?
47?
Something you want. That's what that means. It's not something you want.
Does that have to be a?
That's like
phone call
9
from
a
your
day.
office, or could that be like you're out in the wild and somebody talks to you?
Oh, that can be anything. I do lead sheets with me. I'm in the line of runners. I have business in my pocket and lead sheet that I'm trying to get out.
Can you explain what a lead sheet is?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've never heard of one until today, actually, the lead sheet.
The basic is who, what, when, where, how. That's the basic. Ours is a little bit more fleshed out.
It qualifies if someone's like a real potential client.
I got one here. I'm gonna pass it around on my side.
This is a seller, that one's a buyer.
So this is a seller questionnaire lead sheet. This is what we get each of our agents. You can pass this around and look at it. These are the questions that you get filled out for every single person. Say you have a lead sheet filled out, you need at least 80-90% of this filled out?
I think it's 80%.
80%. You need 80% of those questions answered.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Take a picture.
I mean, this is where.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
But you track this, is that why you do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a direct correlation between appointments that you have set that do have all of that information. They have a tendency to actually happen more often. If you just call somebody and say, hey, meet me in my office at 10 and you don't get any questions answered, there's a higher percentage chance they're actually involved.
And there's a back to that too.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I didn't quite hear that.
I sure can, yeah. So it's a little bit difficult. I'll let you know it too or something, but we have a lead sheet. It's a questionnaire sheet that has 12 or 15 pieces of information on it.
Hmm.
We have one for sellers and one for buyers. With every person that we speak with, we have to get at least 80% of these questions answered to say that we've gotten the lead sheet filled out and we've done a good job with that client. So for example, some of the questions are, where are they looking to purchase? What is their time frame to purchase? Why are they looking to purchase? Do they have a house to sell? Just basic information about the person, because the more questions that you ask, that determines exactly how much commission you're able to charge for that deal. The more that you know their problems, the better you're able to fix it. So
Okay.
we have it broken down to a system. We've just created a paper for sellers and for buyers, where we ask the same questions to every single person and we figure out the same pieces of information. But even if it's just asking the simple ones, like who are they, why are they buying, what do they want to do? I think that gives you a greater chance of actually making the appointment come to fruition. Because what happens is if you just, let's say you had a random person call you and they say, hey, we want to buy a house, and you say, okay, come to my office, we'll talk tomorrow at 10. The chances that they're actually going to show up increase significantly when you ask them enough questions that they feel as though you're already starting to work for them. You know what I mean?
So
Right, okay.
Yep.
The seller questionnaire it's different from the buyer.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
There's the buyer, you're coming around.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So I have one, I can just kind of tweak it.
Yeah.
Cause I don't know
Yep.
how you not,
It
how you not have something that you can track.
Yes, yep. And again, it's breaking everything down to numbers. So then you get to the end of the year and you look at your lead sheets and you see how many you filled out, 80% or more, and then you track them and
Quick question, how much, do you guys review as a team? How does the team get together?
Morning, can you
How does
send
that
me
work?
a snapshot of those questionnaires, please?
yes.
Yeah, I'll send it.
Oh, sorry, Bushira, I thought I was texting you. I didn't realize I wasn't on mute, sorry.
How often do we review?
Yeah, I mean, when you get together as a group,
Yeah,
what's that look like, sound like? I know there's accountability in there somehow, but
that's phenomenal. We'll touch on the scoreboard because we have each of these on the scoreboard as well. So we do weekly every Wednesday. We go over our metrics to hold each other accountable both publicly and personally to
Yep.
make sure we hit them. We have a once a month meeting, one-on-one with Brock, just to make sure that we're actually tracking on our numbers. And then quarterly, we have, these are we've all been here for a long
Yeah.
time, so we're a fairly integral part of the group, but we sit down as a group with, in the future, what will essentially be, some of the people
I give it
Oh,
back. That's
in,
you.
to just make sure the agents are doing what they need to do. You can continue to it. Yeah, we do. No question.
You're saying like you keep it in pocket, so.
Oh, yeah, for this,
I try to simplify my life. So this would be something easy, like I'm sitting here brainstorming to have like. In your Google Drive, you could have a sheet ready, so you pull it up in your phone and you could write there and then wherever you're at. So it doesn't have to be complicated, curious, but yeah. Yeah. I'm struggling with the tabs, but I know what you're talking about.
I've
Yeah,
taken
but yeah,
notes in my phone.
that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, just like copy paste it, you know.
That's a good idea, too.
So, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm a paper person.
I am too.
And too,
Yeah,
I would like to be a paper person, but the reality of my life, this does make it easier.
So I always say to the file folder, like everybody I'm talking, whether they be finance or not, that's filled out up here, everything on it. If you get them across, I can't.
But more than that, I like taking naps every day, but I like having me time. So if I can do something quicker online, I'm doing something quicker online, but I do like paper. All right, Sharmia and Bob, we're about to jump back into the numbers here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead just for these, the rest of these numbers, we're gonna divide them by 50 as well. If you guys are doing it with your own numbers, please feel free to do that. That's just the next step in the taking.
I like your number, 48, that sounds good.
Wait,
Awesome.
we're divided, oh, because that's the number of
Yep.
weeks.
The
Number of weeks you want to work.
3.5.52 divided by 50, that takes you to 6 lead sheets a week. 6.5 appointment set, if you want to set 97 appointments. 0.656. Divided by 50, that's 1.9 appointments set a week. If you want to have 78 appointments, 78.125 divided by 50 is 1.5 a week. Agreement signed, if you want to sign 46, 46.875 divided by, you raising your hand? Stretching. Okay.
We just like that.
That will be less than one a week. That's where things start getting a little bit more manageable. 37.5 pending a year equals 0.74 pending a week, so less than one a week. And then sold, 30 sold a year divided by 50, you need a little over half a house sold each week.
Oh,
Yeah, right. So it's easier to look into it in a broad spectrum. We look at ours quarterly in terms of our school board, and we'll get there next just to show how we organize these numbers and how we categorize them and keep track of them. But the next step, if you guys wanted to, and what we do for our scoreboard, I'll do it as an example with one number. I know I'm taking a little bit here. We're talking about a lot, but we want to break it down to the day. So if you want to figure out how many you have to do each day, how many conversations you have to have each day instead of each week, we would do 2350.13 divided by, this would be 351. You take 2 weeks off.
It'd be easy, probably just take the 50 and
And just
divide that
Divide it
by,
by 7.
yeah,
I'm
or the
bad at this kind
47,
of stuff
the
too.
47 divided by 5, let's say,
Yeah.
5
Yeah,
days.
because that's a week, yeah. And that's 9.4, so you have to have less than 10 conversations a day. So when you're getting into the office, or if you're working every day, Shami, I know you've mentioned to me that you work with your real estate business every day. I mean, you pick up the phone and you put it back down once you talk to 10 people. If you do that every day, by the end of the year, statistically, as long as you're moving people through the process and you're getting them to the next step of the funnel, you should be very close to hitting that goal of 30. Provided the national average is something that you're falling in line with, right? So it's 10 conversations a day, should take you maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours to accomplish that, I call it, not super long. Lucas,
Question.
yes.
What do I do if I know that, like, say I have trouble nailing appointments? You know, like I have trouble getting new listings to sign me because I'm always competing against people, and maybe it's like 1 out of every 4 actually signs with me. Like, what do I do
Yeah.
then?
So it's gonna sound a little blunt. I really appreciate you asking that question. That means it's a skill issue, not a math issue. So what you need to do at that point in time is whether it's researching things on YouTube, whether it's getting yourself a coach, whether it's finding a team or another group of developmental individuals that can help to teach you how to enhance that skill. It means it's a skill issue, because the national average nationally, a realtor only sells 4 to 5 homes a year. So we gotta be better than the average, right? We really gotta be on point to sell these houses. Yep, Tony.
Well, I was just gonna even throw in there is that's the national average, but our numbers are gonna be different.
Sure, yep, they sure are.
And as you start tracking, so all I heard is you got a little more work to do in the beginning. And that's just, as you're saying 15, 17, 18 a year, that's what's happening because that skill set's growing.
Yes, sir, exactly. And the whole goal and the reason we have this is when we get into real estate, we don't always want to be working 70, 80 hours a week. If you can increase your number of sales each year, if you can increase by 20, 30, 40% every year and work the same amount or less hours to do it, you're winning. You know what I mean? If you can take 5 hours off a week every single year, you free yourself up with 200, 300 hours of free time that you didn't have the year prior, right? So that's a really, really good point. As your skills sharpen, these numbers will increase. It will be easier for you to hit your target and increase your income, right?
That's why it's so important for everyone to track their numbers, because they're not gonna know where the bottleneck is or where they're off if they don't track it.
Yep, certainly is. So I took a lot of time to do this. I'm really glad that we did it though. I think this is very important, and if you guys are running your own numbers along with it, I hope that it gave you a little bit of clarity. But what I do want to bring up for you guys, that Terry, I promise I won't take an hour to do this one. I want to show you guys our scoreboard. So this is what we do. This is how we operate as a team. We sit down every Wednesday. We have a weekly Wednesday meeting. We look at it. Here, I'll zoom in just a little bit. We go through all of these numbers and we make sure, like, we have SOI growth. You guys all know what SOI is. So we have to make sure that we're adding, if you look here, the weekly goal, the quarterly goal, the year-to-date goal, and how many we have to have each year. And we have it broken down into a daily and a weekly action, just like we just ran through here. So we do SOI growth, seller conversations, lead sheets, all the way down to when you get down to the bottom here, these are the actionable, or the RBIs, I can't remember what they stand for, but the ABIs are the actionable items that you can control, like how many calls can you make, how many lead sheets can you get filled out. And then the RBIs are the items that are the byproduct of doing those actions.
Results.
The results, thank you very much. That was good, that was good.
That's why you're in charge.
Yeah. So the results of doing those actions. So we have all of our appointments set, appointments had, appointments signed. See, Tony.
Yeah,
Go on, listing pending. You're good. I said I was gonna be done at 12 and I lied to you. So. And we have the same thing for buyers. We have them broken down on the buy side and the sell side. How you figure that out is once you have your numbers and you're sold, you figure out how much of a percentage you want. Like, let's say if you want to split your business down 50-50, if you want half your business executed to buyers and half to these sellers, you're going to take each of these numbers and cut them in half, and that's how many of each you need. So if you want to do 50% buyers, and you know that in total you have to have 9.4 conversations a day, that means that you have to have 5 buyer conversations a day and 5 seller conversations a day to split your business 50-50 numbers. Make it as simple as possible. I know it's a lot to throw at you, but once you run through these numbers a lot, you do it year over year, and it becomes a lot easier. Yeah, what's that face for? You got a question?
Figure.
Yeah. Did you do your numbers?
I don't even know if I have them. No.
It's okay.
I did this based on that.
Okay, okay. You
So
don't
I
like
know
what you said?
mine would be a little bit different.
Grab one.
Yeah, I just did what you had here, and I just used whole numbers instead of the decimal.
Yeah.
But just thinking of would you mind, I actually, bit different, I like listings.
Yeah, most people.
So I like to do more listings, than buys, so
So would you be happy with 60 listing, 50% listing?
that's probably.
Yeah, so what you want to do that, each of these numbers. And divide them by like multiply them by 0.6 and by 0.4. Yeah, so 0.6 of the number will be your listing, the percentage of those contacts. So we'll do, for example, let's just stick with the conversations because it's easiest if we round this up to 10. If we want to do 60% listings, 40% buyers, we're gonna do 6 seller conversations, 4 buyer.
I think being on a team is what can change your mindset by this stuff too. Like you're not on a team, right? Yeah, you definitely should be focused. Like I know I sound like a hypocrite, but.
Well, you
I
did.
think I like listening because I like doing.
It's not that I don't
The
like
open
this,
houses.
it's just like I like the big paycheck. So, you know, like with the way our splits are set up, I understand Dave, but this is gonna get me to my goal quicker, so. It's, and like I said, it's not that I don't.
Teams. That's something else.
Yeah, they're all different.
Need another train to know that, but I.
And I
guess
don't
they're
give away
different.
money, like, don't get me wrong, if I get a listing, I'm all over it, you know, but the buyer side pays the bills best.
For me, I'm in shadow.
For me, I'm actually the flip side of it, like, I get paid less on listings
Yeah.
than buyers, but when I look at $8 per hour, doing showings and the time it takes to close a buyer, I think I could make like, if it takes 10 hours of showings before I get someone under contract, if I spend 10 hours calling for listings, that I'd still prefer them, even though it's like, for me, it's a 35 versus a 50% of the gross commission, but I still prefer to. I hate doing showings, like some people really like one, or who's kind of. Yeah. Yep.
And I've done buyers. And it's like a nature. It's not right or wrong.
I think 11:30.
He was trying
So
to.
real quick, guys, we only have 2 more items. I'm gonna wrap up as well. I have some stuff I have to do this afternoon. Sorry, I know that was really forward. Just have to get it out. We want to touch on lead pillars, and we also want to touch on weekly accountability. So our lead pillars that were mentioned at the very beginning by Brock, they are the pillars that legitimately hold up our business, right? So, God, this phrase is cheesy, but the riches are in the niches. So you want to find what you specialize in and what you find enjoyment in throughout your business and throughout your day. That's what you want to hammer home. My business, about 40% actually comes from Facebook. So I do a lot of social media. I don't know if you guys have seen it. That's where I get most of my activity, most of my actions, just posting myself, my dog, the things I do with each day. Houses sell themselves. So your job as a realtor is to sell yourself. And I'm pretty good at that on social media, right? So you find what you're interested in. Some examples would be cold calling, just picking up the phone and calling random leads, maybe expireds, maybe for sale by owners, open houses. You mentioned that you like doing them. You figure out what you want to do and you circulate your business and your actions around those 3 pillars. So at the beginning of every year, each of us as individuals on the team state our lead pillars. And we have trainings and everything designed around how to get better in those systems and at those things. Very, very, very important to isolate and segment your business. Each of your actions has to be focused, and they need to be focused around how to make your pillars more successful. So it's not if maybe cold calling isn't one of your pillars, but you still want to wake up and cold call that day, that's fine. You can't put your primary focus aside to do another action that has to come first, you know? Yep. Yep, cold calling, open houses, expireds. For sale by owners. They're great. Yep. Social media is a really good one. There's probably only like 6 or 7 in total that you can really focus on.
So would you say something like? What's that? Reminder media, like sending those magazines out
What?
or postcards?
Oh,
things
yeah,
like
for
that.
open houses, yeah, like we have open house systems.
Promoting you, Reminder Media, the magazine,
Yes,
and they do a postcard thing too, where they'll do mass mailings, you pick an area, how many people, how often. And
so
they-
I wouldn't consider that a pillar necessarily, because it does cost you a good bit of money to do that. Just to do expires and FSBOs, you can just hop on Bright or hop on Zillow and just start cranking out calls, you know? So these are the things that, even though you can put money into them, this is the baseline of your business. If you have nothing else to do, I'm doing these 3 things and if I'm bringing.
So expired and FSBOs they amount to that cold call.
No, they're separate. Cold calls are not expired or FSBO.
They're warm calls.
Yeah,
They're warm.
They're warm
they're
calls.
warm. Yeah.
They've already raised their hand saying, I want to sell my house. Cold calling is people that you have no clue if they want to sell or not. You're just dialing.
Yeah, I don't like.
Hey, Lucas has really, really good cold call scripts. He's really good on the phone with that, but it's, yeah.
I more prefer, like I do, like if you're, I'd call a cold call like that circle prospect, people who haven't said already, I want to sell their house. I prefer the people who are a little bit further down the funnel, like your expired and FSBO, because we already know that they want to sell. It's either with expired that they didn't sell for whatever reason, and I'm here to figure out why and present why, what we can do differently to sell it. Then for sale by owners, that's a little bit different because we know they want to sell, but it's a whole lifestyle, mindset where they don't believe that the cost of a real estate agent is worth it. So you kind of have to more,
Show them.
yeah, the trick I think with the FSBOs is you have to be their realtor the whole time while you're not the realtor. So when they give up, because like 80% or more don't actually succeed. So when they give up, you're the guy that they trust, So it's 2 different things, I think, but yeah, I like those ones a lot.
So that cold call.
They're a dialing system.
You pay for a dialer and you can circle an area and it'll give you all the addresses and phone numbers in that area. And then you can click a button and it just starts calling through them. Yeah,
And those cold calls usually work best when you have something to anchor your cold call to. So like if it's a circle or a geo prospect, you're just circling around an area. It's best to do it, like I said, with an anchor. So if you have someone or a listing that you sold or you helped someone buy, you can then come back and then call. It doesn't have to be your listing, but you can then anchor that call saying, hey, I just helped someone buy in your neighborhood and we had to beat 3 other people who wanted that house. So I know there's people looking in that neighborhood. You wouldn't know anybody who wants to sell, would you? And just kind of playing it that way a little bit. Yeah. And you're not even focusing on them. Like, do you know of any neighbors or anything? And then they tell you, no, not really. No one's told me. And then you go into, well, and if I asked you, is there a price that might cause you to want to sell your house? You'd probably laugh at me and tell me just to get off the phone. You're not presumptive that they want it. You're presumptive that they don't want it and let them come tell you that you're wrong. Actually, I have thought about selling. Yeah.
Lucas is king at the reverse selling. He throughout his scripting, even when they act like they want it, he'll be like, yeah, but you probably don't want this, right? And then they say, well, yes, I do want that. And he's like, oh, I can help you with that, just like constantly throughout the conversation.
And that's a separate talk, but even with the warmer guys, like your expireds and stuff, when I call expireds, like, okay, I get it. You're not going to sell right now. You're telling me in 3 months you might revisit it, but you're probably going to use the same realtor again, aren't you? They're like, no, not really. I didn't like my realtor. So you tell them you're not chasing a yes, you're chasing a no, because it doesn't scare the prospect as much. You don't get as much sales resistance that way, I think. Yeah. Let them tell you you're wrong versus chasing them to tell you that you're.
We got to do training. That was well said.
Reach loose.
The last thing that we're gonna touch on today, we did have a couple other things, but I talk a hell of a lot. You guys asked some really good questions, so I'm super appreciative for the intensity you guys had. This was a great one. But weekly accountability. If you don't already have one, I would highly recommend a weekly accountability partner. Now, we have these on our team, not just for real estate goals. We also talk about personal goals as well. Have you made it to the gym how many times you wanted to today? Are you eating healthier? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? The better person that you can become, the better realtor you would become, because houses sell themselves. Your job as an agent is to sell yourself. Everybody knows 3 or 4 agents. Why are they choosing you over them, right? If a house is priced well, it's going to sell. If a buyer wants the house, they're gonna buy it. So we just need to do what we can to make ourselves shine and to make ourselves better. And the easiest way to do that is through accountability. So, you know, it can be a quick 10 to 15 minute phone call where you just hop on the phone with them at a certain time and a certain day each week. And you just run through, even if they don't want to give you any actions, if you just say, hey, ask me these questions, ask me if I made the calls I needed to this week, ask me if I did what I needed to this week. Saying it out loud and have somebody else not reprimand you, but just asking you why you didn't get it done. What got in the way? What are we going to do differently this week to make sure that we actually hit our goals? Those kind of things will help propel you over time. I mean, first it pisses you off when every week you come and you didn't finish everything, right? And then over time, you'll get yourself to a point where it's a quick 5 minute little check-in, just, yep, I did it, I got it, I'm good, don't worry about me, I'll talk to you next week. So I would highly recommend setting up an accountability session with a friend, a family member, a significant other, somebody on your team if you're on a team, another agent if you're not, somebody that has a similar mindset to yourself, just to have that periodic check-in and to make sure that we're holding ourselves accountable. It'll help your business. Over time, it's one of the most pivotal things that I think we've done. Honestly, I've been sober 2 years. Those accountability meetings with our old marketing director are what got me completely off of you know, alcohol and getting completely sober. Like it's about so much more than just selling houses, and you can use it for a lot of things, you know. So that's all I have for you guys. I know we ran through a lot of numbers, so I want to open doors completely. Like, we are not one of those closed book teams or closed book people. There's a lot of houses out there to sell, and we want to help as many people as possible, because in the future, we want to be bigger than real estate. So if anybody has any questions, if you want to run through your numbers personally, if you want to talk through more things more in depth, give me a call. We can set up a time for an hour-long Zoom, 30-minute Zoom, whatever it is. Or we can even meet in person at the office and we can run through things one-on-one. I'm not shy. None of the other guys are shy. Like, we're all here to help, and we want to do what we can to help out. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, Sharmia, would it be okay, if I sent you over, just some of the numbers that we have, what? Some of the numbers that we had run through and some of the stuff.
Yes, please. Yes,
Still- oh,
this was a really big help to see where I need to be. I mean, how I need to get to where I need to be. This has really been eye-opening.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. If you can see me, I apologize. You're just in the air right now.
I
But that
can
sounds
see
good.
you.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay. Yeah, we'll just we'll connect sometime today. And I'll get all those numbers over to you. And if you have any concerns, any interests, if you want to work through anything, please don't hesitate to set up a time and we can get together. And we can figure this all out. I don't think that what you want to do is completely unattainable. I know that it sounds like they're big numbers now, but I promise you, just a little bit every day, you'll get yourself there.
Thank you.
Of course. Bob, do you have any questions?
No, man. That was
All
great.
right. Awesome. I appreciate your time, guys. Thank you. I don't know what I did, Jerry. I don't know what I did. I have no idea what I did.
Make sure we don't.
What exactly is happening is something was put in, so they take their, maybe work is in their hand, but that's not the answer to everything, so then you start the debt, so. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, okay.
So then, back the opportunity to try to.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
You should. This is kind of like.
Really don't wanna go back to work.
Well, don't be scared of the phone calls, I can't, you can run in with it.
No, right now, let's blame you. I heard.
Well, it allows you to. Yeah. The numbers. It's also. Actually, because there's also gonna be days when you don't want to.
Oh, look, it's not broken. See, I didn't break.
So.